of 3 sessions on railways.
Oh,
The
which
main,
module? Which module?
I don't know, when it pops up, it will give us the module number.
Oh.
Okay, but it's split into 3 different things. Okay, so I will share the screen. And as always, tell me when you can see the picture. Anything yet?
Okay, yeah,
Right.
okay.
So railways are split into 3 sections. One, why go by train? The second is, what are the products available on trains? And the third one, the tricky one, is reading railway timetables. So we'll start off by looking at why take the train. Now, this actually happened once. A passenger in Bahrain flew to Amsterdam, or they flew to various cities, and then they had to get from Amsterdam to Paris. So the travel agent actually booked them Amsterdam to Paris, which is not a good idea. Oh, sorry, it was Paris to Amsterdam. The journey time from the center of Paris to Charles de Gaulle Airport takes 90 minutes by bus. That is the best time. If you do it on a Friday afternoon, double it. Yeah. Say you take the shuttle train, which is a bit better. You can do it in 50 minutes. There's a 90-minute check-in time. The flight time on the small intercity aircraft was 75 minutes. Yeah. This is going back a few years now. Then you had to get from Amsterdam Schiphol back into town. So the journey took, say, 5 hours. Okay. Because now it doesn't take 75 minutes for the flight, even with waiting time and everything. So it takes about 5 hours. If you get on the railway station in Paris, which is in the center of town, and you travel right to the center of Amsterdam, so city center to city center, it takes about 3 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah, the average time is 4 hours. So it's much more convenient. You just get on the train in Paris in the center of the city, and you get off the train in the center of Amsterdam, center of the city. It's faster, it's more convenient, and it's cheaper. But people didn't think about, oh, let's take the train. Well, yeah. You're going to have to start thinking about the train, because for short journeys, especially short journeys in Europe, traveling by train is very often faster than flying. So inexperienced travelers think, traveling by train is inconvenient. No, railway stations are in the center of town. You don't have to travel miles out to the airport. But there's lots of advantages in traveling by train. It is convenient, it's city center to city center. It's usually faster over short distances. Okay, if you're going from Bahrain to Sydney, Australia, no, the train will take longer. So short distances might be okay. Okay.
Okay.
Speed. Now this is in France. 570 kilometers per hour. This is almost as fast as an aircraft. Did you see the people on the bridge?
No.
Hello?
No. Oh,
In the video, there were people on the bridge.
I didn't notice the people.
Okay. Well, they were standing one side. The train went under the bridge. They didn't have time to get to the other side of the bridge before the train disappeared. 570 kilometers per hour. So trains are very fast. Right. So trains are fast. They're in the city center or the town center. Narita Airport in Japan is 60 kilometers away from the city center. That is a long way to travel. Yeah. There's more train stations than airports. For instance, and this is the example in the book. This is not because I'm German. This is in the book. Germany has 60 airports in the country, but we've got over 5,000 railway stations. So you can get to more places by train than you can by air. So basically, key learning point, there are more stations, railway stations than airports. Trains often have more services than air. Now, if we take Glasgow to London, there is an air service, and every 90 minutes, 2 hours, there's a flight, Glasgow, London. Yeah, it's a shuttle. However, if you go by train, every 30 minutes there's a train. And the trains run at night, the airlines don't. So you get more choice of times. Very often on trains, you do not need to make reservations. Although on some services, it's a good idea. Especially high-speed express trains, it's a good idea to make a reservation. Aircraft are often affected by weather, snow, rain, winds. Recently in Europe, there were severe winds, really bad winds, and several airports shut down. The trains kept going. So railways are less affected by weather. They're not affected by weather. Yeah, of course, if you get 2 meters of snow, yeah, everything closes down, but they are less affected by weather. Now, modern trains, okay, they have a lot of facilities, yeah. If you look at the picture that's just come up here, this is what's called a buffet car. And it's like a, fast food thing. You can go there, you can get soft drinks, tea, coffee, sandwiches, light snacks, chocolate, yeah. And then there's little areas where you can sit down, look out the window and watch the world go past. If you look at the left-hand picture, look at the seats on a train. Tell me, when was the last time you went on an aeroplane that had seats that size with a table in between? Yeah, so you get much more space on a train. Some trains, especially in Europe, food is actually served at where you're sitting, especially in first class. They have a restaurant service. They come and they serve you food. For business people, train is very good because most trains in the developed world, they have Wi-Fi. They have sockets to recharge your laptop. It's like having a mini office. And because you have a table in front of you, you've got space. Children on several services in Europe, Japan, China, there's a couple of countries, and they have one carriage or part of a carriage, and it's a children's area, and they have games and toys because kids get bored. So you take them down, you know, they can play, they can run around, they can scream without annoying other passengers. This is normally on long distance trains. You know, if it's like 1 hour, 2 hours, no, probably not there. But, you know, 5, 6+ hours, yes. If you're traveling overnight, you might want to sleep. And trains around the world have sleeping compartments. In India, they have first class, second class, third class sleeping compartments. This one is actually a couchette because can you see there's 3 beds?
Mm.
Yeah. This is the basic sleeping accommodation. Some are much more luxurious, which I'll show you in a minute. So some facilities on some services, it's like airlines. Not everything is available on every train for every route. You have to research, which we will also come to later. But these days, Wi-Fi and chargers are pretty common. Many trains have tables, yeah? If they don't have tables, they'll have, like in the aircraft, you know, the tables in the back of the seat in front of you. You get more space on a train than any aeroplane. You can have a play area for children. Buffet, that's where you can get snacks. And a restaurant, it's literally a restaurant car. You walk there, they seat you at a table, you have a menu, you order your food, they bring it to you. It's like a restaurant, it just happens to be on a train. On a train, you get a view. You can look out the window and see things. What do you see when you're flying? Clouds.
Yeah.
That's it. Not very exciting. On trains, normally, if you can carry it, you can take it. So you might have a 20-kilo luggage allowance by air, but you can take 2 big suitcases if you're going by train. And sleeping cars, as here. So you have to check each service and find out exactly what they have.
Mhm.
Rail travel, especially in Europe, is becoming more popular because it's eco-friendly. That means it damages the environment less. Okay, every form of transport is going to have some effect on the environment, okay? But can you minimize it? So train is one way you can minimize it, much better than going by car. Excuse me. Now, one thing you have to remember is Eurostar. Eurostar is a train car service that operates between the UK and France. And it actually goes under the sea. Yeah, it's called the Channel Tunnel. Sometimes it's called the Channel. Okay. You can get on a train in London and get off in Paris or Brussels, no problem. This is how it works. You have you've got 3 tubes under the sea. This one, the trains are going to France. This one, they're coming from France. And then you have an emergency one here in the middle. Okay, just in case, you know, for emergency services, you never know. In the United States, rail is becoming more popular, but in the 40s, 50s, 60s, cars became so popular in the USA, plus petrol was so cheap that they just cut out a lot of rail services. So if you look at this map of the USA, you can see there's whole areas where there's no rail services. Used to be, but they just shut it down because cars were cheap to run. Where there are rail services, yeah, popularity is increasing. And the main railway service in the United States is Amtrak. Okay, Amtrak. So it's becoming more popular because it's environmentally friendly. It's more, 2 or 3 times more energy efficient than traveling by road. Now, modern aircraft are made out of new materials, very light, very efficient engines. So they are becoming much more environmentally friendly. But even modern aircraft, compared with the train, are not as environmentally friendly. So trains are still, even with modern aircraft, just a little bit more environmentally friendly, okay? So key learning points as always. Okay, it's environmentally friendly. That's a big thing. And it's easier than other forms of transport. If you can, take the train instead of driving. Let somebody else worry. You sit down, read your newspaper, have a cup of coffee, relax. There is a service called Motorrail. Motorrail is where you actually drive your car onto the train, then you go inside the main train. When you get to your destination, you take your car off, and then you can drive around with your own car. Right, we're going to have to identify different types of rail services, and the main ones we're interested in are luxury rail services. Have you ever seen the movie Murder on the Orient Express? Anyone?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
That type of train is still running in the world. It's 5-star luxury. They have a lounge with a piano player, 5-course meals for lunch and dinner. You have your own compartment, which in the day has, nice upholstered seats. At night, it turns into a bedroom. Yeah. Two routes they follow are London to Venice, and there's another one from Bangkok to Singapore. So one is the Orient Express, that's the London-Venice, and then there's the Oriental Express, which is Bangkok, Singapore. Both of them, both ways round. Right, different services in rail each country. Because most rail services operate within a country, most, not all, within a country, everybody's got their own brand names and ways of doing things. So there is a bit of variation. However, in Europe, trains, I mean, even when I was young, when I was 14, I could get on a train in the Hook of Holland in the Netherlands, and I could arrive at my local railway station in Detmold, Germany. Yeah, no changing, no nothing, just straight through. That was when I was young, and it's much better now. EC stands for Euro City. Euro City means traveling between European cities. Paris, Amsterdam could be Euro City. And then we have express or fast trains that operate in one country. Yeah. So that's intercity. Intercity means generally within one country. And it's a very popular term worldwide. But we have to research, we have to check, and we have to source. So we've got HST, high-speed trains. They travel about 300 up to or even over 500 kilometers per hour.
We need 3 seats.
Sorry?
No. Sorry. The office sent me a message and.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay, sorry.
No problem. So we saw the video of the French TGV, 574 kilometers per hour. So that very briefly is what we're going to be looking at. What types of trains? Where do they go? What does the train have? Normally for railway tickets, you have to do a bit of research. So if it's something simple, like a trip Paris to Amsterdam, very easy to book online, okay? I would recommend that you can find out the information or the website for them, but get your passenger to actually book it. Because the law is whoever pays for the ticket is the customer legally. So
yeah,
if you so you could get into trouble with that. If
I couldn't. I mean, the office has booked it through a corporate office card, but I couldn't board the train because I wasn't my name was not on the credit card, so I had to buy a new one.
Yeah, well, even if you are allowed to buy it on your credit card with a different name, yes, whoever pays for it is the customer. Yeah. So when it comes to insurance, legal liability, remember from the insurance module, legal liability, you are the one that's insured by the railway company, not the person using the person. Mm-hmm. So you've got a lot of problems there if you book it. However, that doesn't stop you giving information, doesn't stop you giving them the website, but obviously don't do too much work because you're not going to make any money on it. Unless, of course, you have a deal with the railway company over there. Yeah. And it's not that difficult, actually. There's a couple of rail wholesalers. There's also things called rail passes. Now, a rail pass is for someone who's intending to do a lot of traveling in a region. Yeah, so there's the Interrail pass in Europe. You can travel all over Europe for 1 month, one price. Yeah, so that's easy. You can buy that as a travel agent, get it for your passenger, no problem. Okay. If you buy individual tickets, Paris, Amsterdam, that's where it gets a bit more complicated. So we'll be looking at rail passes as well a bit later. So one of the things we're going to have to do is look at the products available, the types of train. Now, most people think of trains as getting from A to B, which is, one way of using a train. Have any of you been on a long train journey?
How long?
More than 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I took the night train from Milan to Paris, which was good because you know, I saved one night. You know, I was on the train sleeping, woke up early morning, enjoyed the view during the early morning, and arrived in center of Paris, you know, around you know, quite early in the morning. It wasn't like, I mean, I think we arrived sometime around 8. I've also used the train for over. I've used a similar service in Kenya, in Nairobi as well. But others
Probably
are
not
more
as good.
shortly.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Probably not as luxurious as Milan to Paris.
Well, actually, it wasn't bad. It was we were with 2 young children. That was in 1995. My children, one was less than a year and one was about 4 years old. And we had this cabin that was quite, you know, okay. And then we went to another place, you know, to the restaurant where we had this nice laid out table for dinner. By the time we came back, they had put out the beds and a small cot for the little baby. So it was very well, you know,
Very
done.
well
And
organized.
yeah.
But it's also, traveling by rail is also an experience.
It is.
You know,
I mean, and it's a shopping center.
Yeah, it's not just
In Germany,
A to B.
Yeah.
So many people love traveling by train. I do. I mean, for me, when I was younger, in the summer, I would get a 1-month rail pass and I would just travel around Europe.
Yeah.
And you meet people, you sleep on the train overnight, which means you save hotel costs. You know, there's all sorts of advantages. So we're going to share the next screen. And hopefully it's on your screen now.
Okay.
You got it? Good.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, I think I picked the wrong one. My PowerPoint has stopped again. Normally we only get this trouble on Sunday. I wonder why it's being awkward today.
I think internet today is a little slow.
Hi, Ruqayya, you are here today.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. I joined a little bit late.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we already know that France has a high-speed rail service called the TGV. Okay.
I'm not able to see the screen, by the way.
Yeah, it's black.
Fatma, this is okay, but
it's all black.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop that and start again. Can you see anything now?
We have the headings.
Yeah.
You know, traveling 300 kph to 500 kph, but then under that there is
okay, that's the video I showed you a little bit before. So
okay,
right. So now you've got a different one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So in France, the high-speed rail service is called TGV, Tango Golf Victor. Okay, Tango Golf Victor. And that's the one that goes over 500 kilometers, operates mainly in France. but it does have services down to Spain as well and a couple of other countries. Japan was actually the first country in the world to have high-speed rail. And it's called, if you look down here, can you see Shinkansen?
Yeah.
Right, that's the Japanese name for the train. It's very often called in English the bullet train. Okay, and here, now this is the bullet train going through a railway station at low speed. Low speed for a bullet train, okay? Now, you see this yellow line here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, between this yellow line and the track, there's a big space, yes? But they have this yellow line because the train is going so fast. If you stand here and the train goes past, it will suck you in. The air is moving so fast, it sucks people in. So it's saying, stay behind that yellow line. That is a fast train, okay? The Shinkansen or bullet train in Japan. China is using something called maglev, M-A-G-L-E-V, maglev. And this train is on magnets and it levitates, hovers over the track. So magnet, mag, levitates, lev, maglev. So this train, literally using electromagnets, is on magnets and it pushes down with a magnetic field. So there is no physical contact between the train and the track, which means there's no friction, which means it goes fast. And again, I'll show you. This is the Chinese maglev. 600 kilometers per hour. And you see, it just hovers over the track. Pretty luxurious, yes? Anyway, we're not doing engineering stuff, so we can skip that. So maglev, M-A-G-L-E-V, is a rail service in China. Okay, hovers over the track and it goes fast. In Germany, we have ICE. Now, IC stands for intercity. Intercity, very common term around the world. The E stands for express. Yeah, so intercity express. Now, it looks so modern, doesn't it?
I think I took that from Frankfurt to Munich.
Yeah, it would be ICE, yeah.
Yeah. from the airport to the, you know.
Yeah, we use them all.
Yeah, I think we
Anyway,
had this. Yeah.
I'll put these videos in the group if you want to download them, okay? If not, just search Google ICE Germany. So again, another high-speed train. Going on these trains, like I said, it's an experience. You know, the world just goes yum. When we saw the TGV train from France, you saw some of the pictures were a bit blurry. It's basically because it's going so fast. You know, the camera can't keep up with it. You need special high-speed cameras. But anyway, Japan was the first country to build high-speed rail lines. The Shinkansen, sometimes known as the bullet train. French Railways built the TGV, okay, which stands for Train à Grande Vitesse. You're not really here to learn French, so don't worry too much about it, but do remember the initials. They're doing a brand change in France, and the TGV is being changed to Inouï. Yeah. So they're slowly changing it. But, you know, most of the routes are in France, but they got some to Germany and Spain and Switzerland. Now, there's a high-speed railway link from Paris to Amsterdam, Paris, Brussels. It's fast, but it's not as fast as the European express trains, because the UK hasn't updated its railway system for ages. Okay, so most speed trains run on special tracks, you know, not too many curves, and they're special. The UK system, most of it runs on normal tracks, so it's fast, but not as fast as the proper ones. So you can get from London to Paris, 2 hours, 15 minutes, and it's called Eurostar. Here's our list of rail services. There's no way to do this except we will keep talking about them again and again and again. Let's have a look at some of the most luxurious trains first. So, the Rajdhani Express, okay, that operates in India, and it's a long distance train. What you might like to do, if you get the time, is again, Google Rajdhani Express, have a look at the train, see what's there. High-speed trains, most countries have them. Something to watch out for in, where is it? Here we are. In Spain, it's Alta Velocidad. In Italy, it's still Alta, but Velocità. So the DAD one is Spanish, and the TAV one is Italy. So think of Velocita as Velocity Italy, okay? And then you've got the high-speed service. In the Czech Republic, there's Super City, another high-speed railway service, which someone can tell us about, because we have someone from the Czech Republic in class. So you want to know, send him a message. Long distance trains.
Hello?
Now, oh, sorry, and the X2000 in Sweden. So I'll be sending you these little quizzes and things, and you just keep practicing. Trans-Siberian. this is a rail service that does come up in the exam a lot. But what they say is, what is the name of the long distance rail service that travels from Moscow to Vladivostok? Vladivostok is right on the Asian side of Russia. So the Trans-Siberian Railway, you start in Moscow and you end up literally close to Japan. In fact, from Vladivostok, you can actually go by ferry to Yokohama in Japan. It's amazing. So can you imagine you're retired or rich and you got plenty of time. Yeah, you could catch that train journey. Indian Pacific, okay, this refers to the oceans. Now, Australia has the Indian Ocean one side and the Pacific Ocean the other. And this railway service runs from Perth to Sydney, India Pacific. So India Pacific, you'd think might be in India, it's not, it's in Australia. Long distance train, 2.5, 3 days, yeah. What a brilliant way to meet Australians, yeah, and other tourists. You've got 3 days to get to know people, it's quite fun. Now, luxury trains. There's the Venice Orient Express, which goes London to Venice. This is a bedroom on a train. You know, I haven't seen, I mean, come on. That is pretty luxurious, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. You can go the Eastern Oriental Express, Bangkok to Singapore. They have a special compartment right at the back, and you can just, you know, hang out with your orange juice, look at the world going past. You know, what an experience. When you do decide to have lunch, this is where you have lunch. You know, 5-star is, you know, 5-star, 5-course meal. Some of the best chefs in the world work on that train. In South Africa, there is also a luxury train called the Blue Train. And it goes from Johannesburg down to Cape Town and Pretoria and so on. Again, luxury all the way. So we've got a couple of luxury trains. We've got the Orient Express, London to Venice, Oriental Express, Bangkok to Singapore, and the Blue Train in South Africa goes to different places, okay? And of course, they're vice versa. So the Oriental Express goes Bangkok, Singapore, and then Singapore, Bangkok. And I've seen that train in Singapore. I didn't get on it because I can't afford that type of price for a railway ticket. But you look in the window and it is just beautiful. Everything is walnut veneer and wood and chrome, and you know, it's like going back to the 1930s. I did mention earlier that you can take your car on a train, yeah? And this is how they do it. You drive your car onto this special wagon,